Today we are going to change a little light. I have a porcelain lamp holder that has gone bad in a little pool room I have on the house. So we will switch that light out real quick, and I'll walk you through the process and kind of what tools you need to do that safely. It's a pretty fast job and easy. So this is the lamp holder in question. First thing we'll do is take the light bulb out. And you can see that it's broken. So I want to first turn the power off, and then I'm going to pull down the fixture. So power is currently off, and I'm going to just unscrew this fixture with a flathead screwdriver. I'm standing on a ladder because this is about 6, 7-ish, almost 8 feet in the air. We'll save these screws because we may need them. You can see what this looks like once we pull down this fixture. Unfortunately, this has crimped on light, and before I touch these screws back here, I want to make sure that there's really no power. So there's 2 screws, and one is a ground and one is power. If that fixture has power, is with a multimeter. This one I believe I got on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. With this one, we just want to put it to AC volts. So off, AC, you can see it's reading 0 or roughly 0. And what we want to do is stick it on those screws back there and make sure there's no power. So hopefully I shut off the right breaker. I couldn't test the light because it was broken, but to see if it was off, so I want to really double check this and make sure that it's off. So there's a couple ways you can test this. So I do black to ground, and there's a ground up in here, right? There's green wire with a ground on it. So we will stick that there, and then we will stick it on the back of this light. So it actually says that there's power, I believe. Let's see what this one says. It's reading something, so let me flip this switch. There should be a switch that controls this light. Looks like I need to find the breaker. Alright, so what happened there was I thought a certain light switch in this room controlled that light. And when I went to verify that light switch controlled that light, there was still power at the receptacle. So that's one really important reason that you need to test with a multimeter before go sticking a screwdriver on it to release the wires or to go to change the receptacle. So if I had touched that with the screwdriver, I would have got electrocuted. So I went down to the cellar, I found the breaker for this room, and there was a breaker labeled pool room or pool shed light, something like that. And I flipped it, and now I tested and everything's good. So good thing I checked that. Alright, so the next step is we're just gonna unscrew the receptacle and replace it with a new one. It's a little bit corroded because this is a pool room where there's a lot of chlorine and everything in here. moisture and water, blah blah blah. So this thing is definitely broken. It's been driving me crazy to try to do pool stuff in here. And the light, I gotta fiddle with the light every 5 seconds or whatever. It doesn't turn on. Alright, let's get this screw out. The new one should have all these screws. So here is the new one. That last one was plastic. Had a plastic housing. I'm hoping that I bought one that was porcelain. Hopefully that will be a little bit more sturdy. We will install it like it was uninstalled. Let me... Okie dokie, I'm gonna open this wire up just a tad. Just kidding. What I did was I opened this wire up just a tad because the screw was a little tight, and I need to be able to put the wires around these screws fairly easy. So the next step is I'm going to put the white one here and the black one here, and I'll put the light in and make sure it works, and then I'll wire it up. Then I'll fully install it. Tightened. A little bit warm out today. So I'm going to push everything back in place so everything's off, right? And what I do is just, I usually just twist that up. And when you twist it up, it kind of folds those wires back in there. Makes it a little bit easier to get it back in place. Let me go get a different screwdriver. I just bought this Milwaukee screwdriver, and it's got like all these bits in it, and it's also magnetized, even though these screws don't have a ton of, aren't really that strong, but it makes it a little bit easier to get everything put up in place when the screwdriver's got a little bit of magnetism on it. Holds the screw there so you don't drop it. And I really like that type of screwdriver. And for a homeowner that doesn't have a big toolbox or doesn't want to have a bunch of screwdrivers lying around, this is a great choice. Switch out just to the bit you need at that moment. You don't have to carry 10 different screwdrivers to get stuff done. Alright, you don't need to tighten this crazy tight. Just tight enough to hold it in place. Did a very light hand tight. And then we'll stick the whole chain on. Okay, so next step is put the light bulb in. Put the light bulb in, and hopefully when I go down to flip the breaker, everything works. There we go. And I have this really bright light bulb because it's really dark in this room. Alright, so now I'm going to run down cellar, flip the breaker. I'm going to leave the camera on in case anything crazy happens. Alright, breaker is on. Moment of truth. There we go. So that took about 15 minutes to shut power off, do a little troubleshooting when I didn't shut the breaker off, and reinstall. Essential tools, right? Multimeter for sure, especially if you've never done this before. It's an easy way to protect yourself from getting electrocuted. Anyways, how to install a light fixture without getting electrocuted. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. The tools I use, especially this cool 14-in-1 Milwaukee screwdriver, I'll link in the comments or link in the description, along with the multimeter I used. And that's all I can think of. I'll see you in the next one.